Okay. Hello, everyone. Now we are here for this week. We are going to look into the possible application of the 8 movements of Yantra Yoga to coordinate and purify the prana on the chair and with the chair, both ways. In the sense that the movement, the movement are done on the chair, sitting on the chair in different ways. The 9 breathings, of course, can be done on the chair. The rhythmic breathing can be done on the chair. All things that are very useful for us. But some of the little movement to help warming up the body and doing some of the movements that are less simple, then we can also do using the chair without sitting on the chair. Especially some movement to work with the back. We can use the chair as a help to make it even more simple. I think that I'm not sure if there is some people who didn't follow before, then I will try to explain a little bit how the 8 movements are done and the principle, but not in detail, I think, as much as we did in the previous session, just for the plain, normal 8 movements. But still, I will be sure to give some, with my capacity, some input and pointers to try to understand how to do the movement as better as possible, and doing it in a way that we experience what is supposed to happen, and then we may try to understand how to make it happen even better. Because as everything else, the 8 movements is not about just thinking about it or looking picture about it or reading about it. All these kinds of things are useful if they bring us to the direct experience, to the application and the experience that come and the action that is associated with this understanding. Only that really there is a benefit of the practice. Otherwise, nothing changes. So for this reason, also it comes that if you don't do it, all the supposed benefit that they can bring, they will not bring, because if you don't do it, nothing is happening. So I think that we start with the 9 breathings anyway, because any session related to Yantra, but also in general, to practices in the beginning is better to apply the 9 breathings, the eliminating 9 times the impure prana. But actually, this one is the focus of the method. That's the main purpose. But it's not only that happening when we practice this method. There is many other things that should come together in order for this to be really what it's supposed to be. First of all, it gives us, because one of the 7 qualifications of Aerochana for defining how we stay in the position is to be relaxed but present. And then is not fundamental for the practice of the 8 movements, of Yantra or whatever. It's always. if it would always be in our life relaxed and present, would be fantastic. So this is one of the 7 qualifications of Aerochana, and is not only about the 9 breathings, about everything. Then we'll train us in the fluid breathing. The fluid breathing will train us if you really understand how to use it well. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So we still should have some kind of understanding of how it should be, so that at least with your present, if you understand what is supposed to be the right way of doing the movement, then the movement will help in training the fluid breathing. The real name, complete name, as I said, is exhaling 9 times the pure air. So it means that a very important aspect is the exhalation. So we'll train us also with a long and thorough exhalation. Also this, together with the fluid breathing, a smooth, direct, and open, possibly long, but not forceful. Not forceful because we block, and not forceful because we force inhaling and exhaling in some way, but it's smooth, should be kind of soft. Another way of calling this could be the calm breathing. So it's long, but it's calm. So a breath like this, with an exhalation, tendentially nicely and thorough and a bit longer, is the recipe for a very healthy breath in general. In general, everybody, more or less, really everybody has the consensus that a very healthy breathing is about 6 circles of the breathing per minute, where the exhalation is a little longer than inhalation. Let's say it goes from 6 to 12. 6 is very good. Some people very relaxed, they breathe even less, even only 2 circles in a minute. But a circle of 6 per minute is very good. And if we notice how more or less is the time of the 9 breathings, then we can almost see. Now I do it, for example, and show. So probably actually depending, because the 9 breathings depend very much of everyone's capacity and condition, doesn't depend very much in a particular rhythm we have to try to keep. We try to go slow, but that depends on the capacity. So, for example, the way I did it is probably only 5 circles in a minute. If you go a little faster, it can be 6, can be 7, but still is a very good ratio, especially to train. Then, of course, the normal wave of the breath, that is a little another story. Unless somebody is really, really present and really trained, maybe it's not so easy to have a very subtle and smooth breath. But it's definitely possible because everything we need is there. We have a body, inside there are the lungs. We inhale, we think about what we do, and so we have the machinery is there. Then it's just a matter of working with it. So this is the 9 breathings. I'm not going to explain in detail what it means, the pure or stale prana and so on, because time is passing. But anyway, it basically means getting rid of something that is not helping, not kind of the negative side, and inhaling properly, so we are kind of inhaling something that is more in the virtuous way, more coordinated, more as should be. And so it's like clean water you put inside to take away some of the dirt that is there when we pour out the water thoroughly, cleansing. Now, on the chair, the position, of course, the first thing should be comfortable and with the back straight. The qualification of Vairocana, many we can do anyway, especially the one to have a direct line between the tip of the nose and the navel. That is fundamental, and feel the sides up. That is really fundamental. If you remember that, you are almost there. Then, of course, now the qualification of putting these two fingers the side of the knee maybe is not ideal because you can't really stay nicely straight. Also depends how you sit. That's why if you have nothing else, you sit in this way with the feet on the floor. But instead of staying like this, stay like this. First of all, is not so easy that it's really comfortable. But also you tend already to control a little bit the size. So the tendency is not to have a little more wide and 306 open breath. So if we stay a little like this, the knees separated, not necessarily too much, but separated, and the feet slightly going to the side, we let more free, especially we let the diaphragm open up better. But still, we can improve it using something, can be a blanket or maybe two blankets or something, that we raise a little bit our feet so that the knees comes more or less to the level of the navel. More like if you were sitting in the queen of the position for applying the 9 breathings, that is the Locust Position, where we are like this, and you see, more or less, so this position, like this, where the knee are more or less below the navel, is better. But if we are like this, then you see they are a little too low. In this case, if we bring something, you can also have the blocks or whatever. You see, now we are already more coordinated. Before it's like this. Now it's like this. This maybe can be too much. Actually, this position with the feet a little raised gives you a better alignment of the spine also, and other things. So sometimes it's used also in different situations to be sure that also the internal organs is a little better if you do in this way. So that would be the position, the qualification of the position. One line between the tip of the nose and the navel. All the others are the same. Maybe if we do like this, for example, you see, now if it was just a little higher, in my case, I could also get very nicely to grabbing with the two fingers the knee. So if you do that, then you are really respecting the indication of the position as should be. Like this, I'm already a little forward. That is what people generally do, even when they sit cross legs, trying to do on the floor the position. But it's fine. Okay. So one line between the tip of the nose and the navel, the shoulders open, mouth and lips and eyes naturally relaxed. If we can, we grab the side of the knee, the tongue in the middle, relax toward the hard part of the front palate, so that you keep relaxed. The throat, you don't block. Here is considered there is a diaphragm, so you don't block this at the level of the larynx. And relaxed but present. So now we would be ready. Of course, you don't have anything. You can also leave your feet down. It's not that that is terrible, but if we can raise it a little, it is better. And then we have to do the movement. Going out, we inhale at the level of the shoulder. Then continue lifting the arm, but means lifting the elbow as much as you can, so to open up the chest, and then bring the fingers. It's in the text of the Anthology specify these two fingers, the ring finger and middle finger, both closing the nostrils, so automatically you feel the sides should be stretched and the elbow should be really up. Then as soon as you close, you exhale, like a shape of the grain of barley. And then remain empty. Then go to the other side. And repeat 3 times and 3 times. So it's 6. And I repeat again this little thing to feel what is happening when we do this movement. Because even if you're sitting, you're still doing that. Okay, so now we try to breathe in the belly. Really breathe in the belly. Let the belly come out. Breathe only in the belly. So your intention, that is a bad intention in general, to breathe like that, is to put the air in the belly, really bloating the belly. And now you put your hand on the knee, exhale, and then your intention is still to bloat the belly. But while you start inhaling and pushing the belly out, you move the hand at the level of the shoulder, straight to the side, like this, very simple. So let's do it together. Exhale, put the air in the belly and move. Again, exhale very nicely, bloat the belly and move. So you see, you can't really bloat, doesn't stay there. It starts to expand, yes, but then immediately with the movement, start rising up, start moving upward, and actually also to the side. So there is an expansion, and you feel it, as I said, starting somehow below the navel, but then it's moving up and expanding nicely also to the side. That as the breath really should be. And then when we are here, Instead of thinking to bring the hand to the nose, you think, bring the elbow up and let the movement of the elbow kind of influence the movement of the hand or the arm. If you remain controlled but relaxed, it leads your hand straight to the nostril, nicely opening the chest on the way up. That's what it's supposed to be and to do. Then exhale. Of course, you don't try to stay up there like this. When you exhale, somehow the air is going out from the rib cage, especially starting from the top. The shoulder is lowering, so the elbow is lowering. If some people don't have this capacity of feeling it like this, to let exhale first from the top of the chest, then you can make this move more active. You intentionally lower the elbow. In lowering the elbow, you lower the shoulder. And more or less when you are at this level, without going too much, then you finish the exhalation and come down in empty hold. So here, inhale, exhale, stay empty, remain empty, centering, then go to the other side. 3 times each side, and then remaining in the position, inhale, and then start exhaling from the top of the chest, and then move with bringing your elbow close to the ribs, and the movement is done not bending the head, but keeping the alignment and moving the navel. So you can exhale quite well. One moment of empty, and then back. As you can see, it works perfectly well. So even if you cannot sit on the floor, do not worry. You can easily do it like this. If you have the feet down, still you can do it very well. Like this, I personally like it less because it corresponds less to the ideal position for doing it. And maybe if you have the feet down and you do this exercise we did before, this test, not real exercise, you feel that the air stays more down the belly and more also below. It seems strange, but I do entire courses almost in having people experience how changing not so much the position of the body changes the breath. If you want, you try to do it first with the feet down and see how the expansion happens, and do it with the right level of the knees and feel how the expansion is happening, and you see there is a difference. Seems almost, come on, how is possible? It is possible. That's what happens. You stay down, it's tending to expand more like this. When you raise the feet, it's expanding more like this. That the influence on the body of how we feel and how it's moving the expansion of the breath. That actually is only in the lungs, the air. But the effect that has on the body is a different story. It's also related to the subtle energy and the nature of our condition. So, if it's possible, right position and everything, and then we are perfectly able to do a very good practice of the exhaling 9 times the state prana. Okay, now the rhythmic breathing maybe we do during, a little after. Now we start looking into the first 2 of the 8 movement, specifically, firstly. And so we have some nice warm-ups that we can do sitting, or if you want, we can also do standing. Depends, but it's actually the same. So you decide how you like it best, how you like best to apply that. And because the movement that we have to apply is very much connected with an exertion of the arms, we do some of these warm-ups for the arms. Actually, is also would have been good to prepare for also the movement there is in the 9 breathings, but on the other hand, also the movement in the 9 breathings is helping to train for these ones. So it depends how much time you have. Sometimes I also like to do a little, maybe in the next session we do, to do a little opening up for the breath, to make even the 9 breathings happening in a more smooth way. Because I noticed that when we explain that the breathing should be starting from below, should be direct, is precise, very precise, of course, but is also a concept. And transfer a concept into an action involving also the position of physical body and related to how the diaphragm is working, and is not necessarily so straight going from one to the other. But there are some little simple exercises that can very easily and very quickly somehow open the breath, and then you can experience a breath is starting from below and coming up. So it makes it easier. But if you remember what I've shown you about the effect of this movement while we go up, and you can do what I did now a couple of times to feel, well, this already is giving your body some memory that can follow in trying to do. But when you do in that way, that what you have to think about is you have to start breathing, putting the air in the abdomen, or let's say in the belly, because anyway it's controlled by the movement. But some people also cannot do that. And so in order to help doing that, we can try to do some exercise also to release also the tension in the diaphragm, making the diaphragm more supple, because that big muscle that never rests is the focal point somehow of the respiration. The lungs, we can't do anything without the lungs, of course. My good respiration need a good function of the diaphragm. Okay. So the breathing is soft, smooth from the nostrils, only from the nostrils. That's how we breathe. And if you want, and you have the idea that maybe your flow of the breath is a little constricted or something, then Try to have the presence of feeling the air traveling to the nostrils. This helps you already in routing the breath more from below. Should also help keeping the laryngeal diaphragm relaxed. And because of that, the breath can be smoother. Doesn't have to be super long or something. It's important that it's easy and smooth and rooted below. The exhalation, we should just let go from the top, not engage the abdominal muscles and the diaphragm in pushing air out. Just let it go out from the top. The lungs are elastic. You stop expanding, let the airways free, and the air is starting to go out. Of course, then if you want to make it deeper, like here, and now you have to engage different muscles or the position of the body to squeeze the rib cage, bringing up, back up the diaphragm, so the abdominal muscles, and so on and so on. But now when we do these exercises, we want just have a normal, smooth flow of the breath. Try not to let the movement of the mind and some tension somewhere to block the breath here and there. This in itself is a practice. It's not so easy. We are not used to that. We are more used to distraction than presence. So only try to do this. It's a very good practice. So you breathe here and pull. Then take higher and pull. If you have this, if you can have this attitude of the presence, of the breathing, of the body, because can go together, you feel, you listen to your breath and to your body at the same time. So in that way, also somehow you put together the movement and the breathing. That's exactly what we should be in Yantra Yoga, actually. And if you are in this condition, it's much more difficult you force. Forcing, in reality, is a kind of distraction. Not exerting strength. Exerting strength with presence can also give life to some kind of powerful grace. But distraction, fragmentation, and this and that, then can lead to forcing. But if you do in this way, we are kind of more with our breath, with our body. We are more aware of what is going on. And so we can observe and feel and discover and coordinate things much, much better. So the other side. And again, and this can translate in our normal life. So we don't cut a finger cutting a tomato, we don't have a car accident, we don't trip on the stairs, for example, possibly. Now we go straight up, straighten up. At the side of the head with the palm of the hands like this. This also we can do before doing the 9 breathings or anytime we want to feel our back straight, even standing. We have to have this nice sensation, the sides up, the back straight, we can do this. But now we take one and pull higher, one wrist. Of course, when you are like this, when you breathe, especially when you really pull, you feel the air more in the chest. Okay. Now down. And put the hand on the back between your shoulder blades, and then pull a little bit the elbow without moving to the side. Then the other side. Now put at the shoulder and stretch and move back. Push back your arm. Then the other way, or with the hand or with the wrist, the way you feel more comfortable. Now you pull your elbow up by yourself. Then the other side. Then again, back to the between your shoulder blades, but now do it yourself, and this goes back around the small of the back. Then again, the other side. Keep breathing smoothly. Don't block. Don't fragment. Now we put, depends, well, chair are all different. So it really depends what you can do also about the chair that you have. This one, for example, is very simple. This is one I prefer most, very straight. But sometimes they have a handle here, sometimes the back is not very much straight, it's round, and sometimes it's even like this. So then things change a little bit. You have to find your own situation. Sometimes we have to stay more on the front of the chair. Sometimes also maybe if you are tired and you have a chair that allows that, you can stay more on the back of the chair. Sometimes if there still can be a problem, so can be rolled something like a towel or something, and not too big, and you have to find what works, not too big, not too small, and then let's put it on the back. As you see, is not down, just behind the curve of the lumbar vertebrae, but a little above. And then can help you stay more straight. And comfortable. Now we go to the side. In this case, maybe now we can keep the feet together. Also, if they are on the floor, doesn't change very much. Actually, in this case, if you have a chair like this, you can hook the foot on the legs, so they don't move too much. So you have a nice coordinated base. Also, this one for the first of the 8 movements. Actually, for the 8 movements can be good. Also, if you have something like the block, you can still put there. But in this case, doesn't change so much. But changes if the foot is starting to go here and there and move. So it's better if we can hook it and control it. Now put one hand to the side, and now we go straightening. We keep this arm straight at the base and then stretch. Then the other side and stretch. And then can inhale and exhale. You can do it dynamic. I have to come back a little in front because it's more comfortable for me. Okay. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So we can train also some coordination, the movement and the breathing. So until here you inhale and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay. Now we cross the arms in this way, putting the right hand above the left elbow for men, and the left hand above the right elbow for women. We can also control from inside with the thumb. So we grasp very firmly. So we do this, and then we go above and pull up. We come down exhaling, inhaling. Okay, this is the training for the 8 movements. Actually, a little raised, it somehow is a little better, I have to say. Also depends on the chair, depends on the height of the chair and many things. Remember that if you can be more or less at this level with the knees relative to the lower part of the under the navel and not too much down, then is better. The alignment is better in that way. Okay, so let me see. Okay. Now we go looking into the first of the 8 movements. This is for the open hold. No, absolutely not. There is open hold, but it's for the long inhalation. I am a little fixated with the open hold, so you should forgive me. It pops up all the time because there is reasons, but okay. So this is for the long inhalation, and in the 8 movements we have a rhythm. It's not like the 9 breathings that we breathe according to our capacity, our flow of the breath, trying to inhale as long as we can, without forcing, keeping the smoothness of the quality of the breath. Here there is a rhythm, and generally is 2 counts, and sometimes there is 2 counts but on the quick side, and sometimes there is 4 counts, so a longer time. In this case, for example, because it's focused on the long inhalation, then the long inhalation will be in 4 counts. 4 counts means a count is more or less considered based on the heartbeat of a person relaxed and healthy and tranquil. So in general, we have been considering slower than a second, like 52, 54 beat to 60. But in reality, is around that, is not a mathematic thing. Some people tend to go a little slower, some people tend to go a little quicker. Important is the quality of the flowing of the breath. That should be direct, should be smooth. If it's quick, should be quick. If it's slow, should be slow. And possibly staying in the rhythm. But generally, when we practice for some time, what happens is that we try to somehow to identify, I don't know if it's a good word, with the rhythm. At a certain point, we don't count the rhythm. We become the rhythm. We move with the rhythm. There is no really need to remember too much. Yes, of course, in the background, you maybe still have the presence, because it's always better never to think we already can let our body and our thing do whatever automatically and will be okay. Because very often we tend to insert some quirks and things related to our shortcomings or tendency or ideas. And so in reality, being present also for that reason is very important. We have to still be still being in what we do, and in this way we are kind of observing what is happening. We are in what is happening. So in that way, the practice is assured, is much better. And then the rhythm becomes part of the movement itself. And when this happens, it means that the movement, the breathing, the position, they are going together, and there is no resistance, there is harmony, there is grace. But being yantra, there is always an element of alertness, of willfulness, of intent, of strength and grace, not just calm, but also there is life in the movement. There should be, is not, and again, this depends on presence. Give your movement some vigor, some life, without tensing, without forcing, but being there and moving with intent. That is an English word that for me, I hope, is the idea. So when we do this, also we don't tend anymore eventually to fragment the breathing or to accelerate and decelerate, I hope is a word that exists, the speed of the movement I show, for example. From here, I have to go here, I can go. Because I remember to stay in the rhythm. 1, 2. Or I can go 1, oh, should be 2. 1, 2. Or go like this, and like this, and like this. But you kind of flow with the movement. So there is also no stopping. One movement, the next movement, in, out. Now you go in and out. That little that look like a pose is the breath that goes there. There is a moment that is there and then start moving down. So sometimes I say, it's like we are moving our body with the breathing because it's inside the movement. Here doesn't necessarily mean that you can do this if you are expert. No. That has nothing to do. We can do the most difficult variation in yantra. If you don't do like this, is not really, at least from my point of view, a good practice of yantra. You do something in the chair, you do it like this, from my point of view, is a very good practice of yantra. Because yantra is about coordinating body, energy, and mind. And when we do that, that is what happens. Of course, it's not that the positions are not useful. Of course, are very, very useful because they do specific things at different levels. So if we can do the great variation of yantra yoga, it's fantastic. But doesn't mean that we cannot have a very good practice using what is the principle of yantra, even if you are sitting on a chair. Because we can coordinate the aspect of our body, breathing, and mind. So this movement we do like this. We start, first I show you. This is the first of the 8 movement for the long inhalation. So we start with our arms along the side. And then I said before, men with the right reach the left, women with the left reach the right. If you feel a little bit tiresome, for example, even if you are in the chair, to stay like this, and again, you can move back and eventually have some support. And also doing it like this. Important is the breathing is smooth. The position is aligned. And then things happen much better. Okay, I repeat. Arms along the side. And I tell you first what not to do. I don't know if it is the right way didactically to explain things, but it is like this. So don't do this, because that is not correct. If you do like this, the breath will concentrate mostly on the chest. But again, we want always to try to train to root the breath from below. So you have to go and grab it when it's still on the way. And then you actually breathe a little more and you root it from below. If you want to try, you try a few times like this or like this, and you see the difference. Okay. So we try to get when it's still coming up above the elbow, and then finish to inhale, grabbing at the level of the shoulders. Now, if we want to divide, thinking of the rhythm, then would be 1 and 2. Then we exhale, bringing the elbow down, letting the shoulder down when the elbow go down, and then pulling the shoulder back. When we pull the shoulder back, automatically we have a downward pressure of the arms. Because this is said we should open well the chest. And that's the only way to open the chest. So in doing this, we are really exhaling thoroughly. Even if it's only 2 counts, we are exhaling thoroughly. So now, exhaling thoroughly, possibly from the top, going down, exhaling nicely. Now we are ready to inhale fully and long and direct for 4 counts. So from here, we inhale long. And we go above the head. We have to be above the head, not on the head. And our head should not be in front like this or back. Possibly it's just straight. What you should feel when you stretch these arms is a continuation of the pull along the side, a straight pull along the side. We feel that above the head. And because we really stretch, somehow when you really stretch, you feel that the rib cage, especially up here, is moving out, and is like there is a small movement also the shoulder, so that the elbow things like is pushing us a little toward the sides, but is the opening of the upper chest. This should happen. This you should feel. This what will help you remaining in open hold and don't block the hold when you do the movement. That's what should help. You should feel that. If you don't, it means you are not doing well this part of the open hold. That is the part we have to do Chunzel. Chunzel, it means you have to tense thoroughly, very strongly. And Chunzel is you tense to the point of trembling. So you go up and you should really, really stretch. And by doing this, you open well the upper chest, and then the air that is inside stays relaxed. That was the open hold. When in open hold, the air is not blocked, direct, or contracting anything. It's left alone. It's left there without doing anything. Just give space. Give space to this breath, please. Give a little space, and then you remain there, relaxed. The air. Of course, that can be done if the movement helps this to happen. If the movement is like this cannot really happen very well. So then you feel maybe the tendency of blocking the throat. And when you exhale, you feel that it means was not open, because this is the necessity to open. If it was open, shouldn't be necessary to open, of course, is logic. So if you feel this, it means was not open hold. So you have to try to understand how to remain open. And one way that you can understand if you were open is by talking. Not when you do it as a practice, but when you do it to understand. You are like this. If you can talk, it means you are free. You are not blocking the glottis. Talk, say anything, wee, baba, 1, 2, whatever, chick chack. So it means, and then in this way, with this sensation, you exhale. Here should be open, relaxed. Then from here, we have to come down a little quicker to stay in the rhythm. Exhaling, and then inhaling. You go a little above the level of the shoulders. The image that is given like eagle's wings. Well, also probably eagles sometimes are a little different, but more or less that's the idea. A little above, and exhale. And again, we can do this movement simply passive like this. Doesn't help our breath, or we can keep some life in the movement. Not rigidity, but control, so that you get there, and at the top, you can a little bit extend the arm, and this helps you again in transitioning from inhaling to exhaling. Is like a micro open hold. So it gives you a possibility of the smooth transition. Why I'm saying this? Because some people, they have the tendency of a kind of nervous upper chest breath that is always, because tension don't go away like this, unfortunately. So something is remaining, is in the system, is there ready to come out. So sometimes they even doing this. There is, especially if you have this tendency of these micro blocks, when you go there, if you do as I said, a little bit extension, doesn't that much less much less likely that you tend to block, and so you can smoothly exhale. That's what you want. You want to train yourself to breathe in this way, a smooth circle of the breath, not fragmented, block, and nervous and partial. So at least when we practice, we try really to do that. And then, of course, slowly, we seep into our system and help us to breathe more relaxed in general. So I show you another time how it is. Okay, that is the first Viet movement. Then we do it together. I will direct you with some instructions. Not the rhythm yet. Only inhale and exhale, inhale slowly, and only this, and all open, this kind of instructions. Okay, arms along the side. Inhale, exhale, opening the chest. Inhale slowly. Open, hold, stretch strongly the body. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Inhale slowly. Open, hold. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Slowing. Open, hold for 2 counts. Out. In. Out. We will go eventually over this again, but maybe if you have a little time, try this I told you and see if you can really be open. Understand how to keep you open. That seems something not so, what do you say, a controsenso, counterintuitive somehow. I have to keep my breath inside relaxed, but the body is totally tense. It seems that doesn't compute, but it does. And you have to experience. Now, if some people cannot do like this, then you can let go a little bit, something like this. But then instead of moving up the hands, you should remember to move up the elbows. Because what you have to feel is the stretching of the side. If you go like this, you close the side, and then you end up closing. If you open up, then you should do like this, basically. And then you can keep it open. Now, the second movement, there is pretty much something similar, actually similar to the 9 breathings. The second movement is for the open hold. And there is already the transition from the open hold into the directed hold. Yet movements train 4 kinds of holdings: open, directed, close, and contracted. So now we are already seeing first inhaling, then there is open hold, and then open hold and directed hold. So is one movement preparing and melting into the other to complete the total function of the retention of the breath. This movement is done in this way. I show you one side only for not taking too much time. Again, the breath is always fluid, direct, not blocking. This is done first, as I did, then the man come up first with the left hand to the forehead, and the other hand goes under the armpit. But not the hand. We see later exactly what it is. And then we go from the other side. And then we go together. Both. So here we do the Vajra fist. We put the thumb at the root of the ring finger and close. So we start with the hands along the side, but we do when we start, we do the Vajra fist and inhaling while one arm goes out and to the forehead. At the same time, the other fist comes under the armpit. So the purpose of this is to close one side and open the other. Because we train first one side, then the other, and then both. But if you see, it's pretty similar to the 9 breathings. Because when we do this movement, we do the same movement. First, come here. From here again, think of the elbow up. Don't think to bring the fist to the forehead. Think to bring the elbow up. And then let the fist coming to the forehead. Because we should stay to the side, not going in front, not going back. Also with this, not pushing back, not pushing there, but staying to the side. Then you really control and close this side. You can feel the rib cage going in. But here, when you're here, you feel the rib cage going out. So if you see, here is exactly the function we had during the 9 breathings, to open up very well. Because the position is basically almost exactly the same. The fist should be at the forehead, not at the nose, at the forehead. And the elbow should be really up. You should feel the side stretching. And possibly is closed. I don't know if you see very well. Not like this, not like this, not like this, but like this. Because as soon as this like this, you see the elbow is coming down. Elbow is coming down, the sides collapses, and then doesn't have the same function. Because here the idea is, here we have to breathe all the way up, expanding very well. So when we are here, then we move, grazing the eyebrows and grazing the ear, and then we go at the nape. This is done in open hold, like before. We have done the open hold before. Now in this movement, you see, it's like, it's a little bit like before, no? If we put this one together, similar. So in open hold, you go to the nape, eyebrows, ear, nape. This is open hold. And should be done this movement with some control of the arm, because otherwise it's going down immediately. And it's not a satellite is going around. It's not the hand following like this, but stable and goes there with control. And this is open hold. Then, still with a vigorous movement, we go grazing the other ear, eyebrows again, next to the ear, and finish the control here, not pushing down, not pushing back, but just near the ear, finish we do this movement with vigor, so you go around here, and then out the arms and down. This is how we finish. Now, to make things a little easier to remember, because I don't see how people are doing, and I can't advise anybody or anything, and then there is the mirror-like effect. So some people, even when it is a live course, the tendency is to maybe being fooled into going the other direction. So one way to avoid this is to remember that the fist, the arm that is up, rules. So if you are up, for example, with your right arm, you go toward the right ear. Right arm, right fist, right ear first. And then you finish on the right ear. Okay? Right fist, right side, left fist, left side. If you keep this in mind, it shouldn't be confusing. And then when we do the other side, of course, and then we do together the last time, inhaling with the fist outside. And here really, you really feel all the rib cage opening, the chest opening. And then you go, same as before, trying to keep the elbows up. Here is maybe a little less simple because one is one thing, two maybe, but we really have to try to keep the fist on the forehead and the elbows up. So you go to the ear, then you go back, and then when you go back, cross the feet at the fist at the nape, one above the other. So men cross the left of the right, and women the right over the left. Like this. This for men. And this for women. At the nape. And then it's the same. We get here, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Every movement or yet movement has 7 phases. So this one movement we repeat 2 times. I show you quickly. Inhale, exhale. I do just the last to show. Inhale, da 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 da. Exhale, inhale, exhale. That is one phase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we should do again to go into 7, 6, 7. Okay? Then we start. So we finish the first movement here. And maybe I show you one time a little quicker, just to have an idea. Okay? So we are ready. Hands along the side. Men with the left, women with the right. In. Hold open. Hold Gilles. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. First. Inhale. Exhale. The other side. Inhale. Hold open. Hold Gilles. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Second. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay? So repeat again the counting, because this can be a little confusing. Inhale, 1. Exhale, 2. Inhale, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the second, inhale 1, exhale 2, inhale 3, hold 4, exhale 5, inhale 6, exhale 7. Clear? Because I know that this creates some confusion. We tend to forget to do this coordinating 7 phases every movement. Actually, this is something that if you have some doubt, you have to try to keep in your mind. If you're doing a movement and you don't see very well this or that, then you remember every movement should be 7 phases. Okay, so let's start together. In, out, in, hold open, directed hold with vigor, out, in, out, in, out. The other side, in, open hold to the nape, around faster with tension, exhale. In, out, in, out, in, open hold, vigor in the movement, directing hold faster, out, in, out. Okay, these are the first 2 movements for long inhalation and open hold. I think that for today is enough. Yes. We can do some kind of little fast exhalation, even if you are in the chair. We find a little bit to clean the air. In this way. If you want, now and then, you can also stay a little empty down. In general, this is sometimes, even if you are a little stressed and nervous or whatever, then you do a little bit of this and can cut through the tension and feels already better. It is something that Rinpoche was always advising people to do. Jenny, we can do standing, but if there is not possibility, also we can do on the chair. So we go, and then after that, then you relax a little bit. If you are in a chair where you can lay, then you can lay back on the chair. If you have a desk, then you can relax like this. And then like this. It's very relaxing. Ready? 7 times. Shoot the air out. Okay. For today we finish. We continue day after tomorrow. Bye-bye.